9B, we have a letter and quite a bit of information. For two reasons, I'd suggest that we can discuss and I'll present to you this evening, but you table, because I understand a number of you either did not receive or just received today your packets in the mail, and so you haven't had a chance to review this information, and it is quite cumbersome. So there's 4 items that the Planning Commission has recommended that you consider to change in the county code. The first on page 1 deals with site plans, and it puts together a process for the development of site plans as you consider various forms and size of development across the county. Currently, in our ordinance, it leaves that up to negotiation between county staff and the developer, and that's not fair to either side as they go into the process. And this outlines a procedure that advises everyone early on what would be required as part of the site plan process for development. I would recommend that you send this piece back after you've had a chance to review it. We can discuss it in June, but I would recommend that this in addition to the second, go back to the Planning Commission for further revision, because as you'll see on the first page there, we still need they need to enumerate the zoning districts and specify exactly where these site plans would be required. We certainly don't want to require folks who are, for instance, building a single-family dwelling on a piece of property to have to meet all of these requirements. This is intended more for your commercial, your business districts, and your manufacturing and industrial districts to make sure they're satisfied. So, for instance, Love's new apartment complex, those types of things would fit the category where a site plan would be required, and this would outline that. But a homeowner trying to build a home on a piece of property that they bought certainly shouldn't have to meet these same requirements. The second component is an ordinance around siting of solar facilities in Alleghany County. Currently, if you follow the news nationally or especially in Virginia, siting of solar facilities is growing, will continue to grow, and this outlines procedures for consideration should we receive solar proposals on an industrial scale. And so, but I would also suggest that you consider sending this back, because it also still for our residential plan unit development districts, it has not been thoroughly discussed at the Planning Commission level. So after you've had a chance to review it, and we can discuss and have it on your agenda in June. Those first two I would suggest back to the Planning Commission for further consideration. The last two changes that they have recommended are to your subdivision ordinance, and these should take quite a bit of your deliberation and consideration at the board level before proceeding on and considering whether or not you'd like to hold a public hearing on the recommended changes. The first is around private roads and the lot size that in developments where private roads are allowed. And this is a balanced discussion, right? So you have certainly understand from the developer's perspective their interest in being allowed to construct roads that don't necessarily meet VDOT standard from a investment side as they develop real estate in the county. From our side, at the county level, if we had our druthers in the conversation, we wouldn't allow the development of property and not require state maintained roads to be a part of it because of the problems they create long term for folks. And there's certainly an application, and it's a debate that needs to be held and had and probably met somewhere in the middle on where you would allow private roads. Currently, any subdivision that is less than 5 acre lots, we require them to build streets in those subdivisions to VDOT standards. Anything above 5 acres in lot size, you can still have a private road, but you have to dedicate the 50-foot wide right-of-way as part of that. The reason why it's challenging is once people move in and build homes, in order for those roads to be brought up to state standards, the homeowners are responsible, or the property owners of the subdivision are responsible for funding that cost. Certainly understand the developer side of the conversation, and there's probably some middle ground that we should meet there on that particular topic. But again, you'll see that it's highlighted. It's section 54-31. There's some highlighted sections that call for those changes. And then if you come back to the very last page, it's not numbered, but it's under the minor divisions definition in section 54-33, and it speaks to the requirement for the determination before a subdivision or a lot is approved, the accessibility to either public sewer or that site's ability to support an on-site sanitary sewer, wastewater system, septic system, alternative system, whatever it may be. There's a number of different ways to describe it. Currently, your ordinance requires, regardless of lot size proposed, that each lot prior to approval be approved for some form of sanitary sewer. So we know when we approve a subdivision and sign off here at the county, that lot can be built upon because it has accessibility either to public sewer or it perks. It meets the standards BDH sets out for on-site systems.
That includes alternative or conventional, right?
Correct. We do have a responsibility here when we review and approve lots to make sure that they are suitable for building. People that then go out and buy those lots have an expectation that once we've signed off on it and it's been created as a lot in the county, especially in the R1, R2 district, that it can support some type of sewer system they can build a home on. I think from the county's perspective that that's very important to maintain because of the terrain and the type of topography and that we live in here. You can have lots that simply don't perk. You can't put an on-site system on, either because of slope or because of excessive rock at the surface, depth to groundwater and whatnot. So I would certainly think that you should take and consider that conversation and think long and hard before making any changes with regard to the suitability for sewer accessibility before we change any lots. Again, I'm sorry that the packets weren't received in time for you all to have had a chance to review and digest this and discuss this evening. Over the course of the next month, please feel free to reach out to either myself or Ms. Stoll and County Planner and Zoning Administrator, and then we'll have this on your agenda for discussion again next month once you've had a chance to review. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I do a lot at you very quickly without the opportunity for you to have had a chance to read it in advance.